The court has heard that you are a business engineer of note in the property and realty industry. Marketing and selling of property is your strength. Posing and pitching the sale of a concept is the golden thread of the realty world. Showing property for sale as show houses is a skill which determines the success of the sale. I looked through various websites of property industries, of which you were a shining star, and I see that many estate agents, and I quote from one in particular, Rosie Mulvaney, who sells properties across Ireland, and on their website quotes the following: you get one chance to make an impression, and preparation is key. And so I also looked at the Sotheby's Geffen website, of which you were the former CEO. And their sentiments are exactly the same. They say staging is a key element in selling property. Gleaning from the crime scene photos and other evidence, Mr. Rohde, you used your wife's body as a show house to sell the concept that she had taken her own life. You methodically and clinically went about in an attempt to create the indelible impression that Susan had done this to herself. Preparation was clearly key, and you had one chance to make the impression you wanted, and you went for it. I carefully searched through the forensic images of the scene. Her body, naked and exposed on the floor, with the indentation mark which you inflicted around her neck to create the impression that she had hanged herself. And I could not find in your conduct acknowledgement that she was your wife, the mother of your children, a woman, or simply a human being. So keen was the desire to ensure your liberty and to escape the consequences of your murderous conduct that she was, in that moment, nothing but an object used in the cause to market and sell the concept you wanted others to buy into. That being, Susan is to blame. She did this to herself. Naked and stripped of her dignity, you dragged her from the bedroom over the sisal rug, inflicting there with more injuries to her body, and undignifiedly dragged her through her feces, leaving fecal drag marks on the floor in front of the bar. You posed her for her alibi to see and to be shocked by her nakedness. In that way, it is clear you ensured that the handyman you called would follow your instructions, aghast by the scene and the nakedness of this woman, and exit the bathroom without further ado or inspection, maximizing therewith the prospects that he would buy into the suicide image you had sought to create. This woman killed herself. So did Mr. William Lee, a fellow hotel guest who shortly thereafter arrived and stood at the bathroom door. Once he saw that Susan was naked and exposed, he casted his gaze away out of respect and refrained from looking into the scene any further. This was exactly your staging plan, for others to be left with an image of a woman who killed herself. Through the act of staging, you were marketing and selling the suicide brand you had prepared for, and quite frankly, grotesquely went beyond the pale. The death and loss of such a remarkable person, a mother, a daughter, a sister, and friend, is in itself a traumatic and grieving experience. By blaming her for her demise in circumstances where you had murdered her, added insult to injury. You sought to tarnish her legacy, and by simulating her death as suicide, you left her loved ones to further suffer in their grief and speculate with anguish as to what motivated Susan in the taking of her own life. How it could be that she did not consider her love for her children and other loved ones, and in turn, their love for her when she chose to end her life. And naturally, they would have tormented in the quest as to how and if they had failed her. You showcased her, Mr. Rohde, regardless of the obligation you owed to protect her. You owed her body, you owed her dignity and her legacy. And you committed this offense in cruel and selfish pursuit to escape the letter of the law and defeat the ends of justice. In conclusion, I've considered various sentencing options. I've also considered cumulative effect and the concurrent effect of these sentences. For the reasons set out above, I'm satisfied that a sentence of long-term imprisonment is called for in these circumstances, and that the punishment meted out to you should exceed the minimum prescribed sentence of 15 years, which will meet all the objectives of sentencing and will be manifestly fair and just. Accordingly, Mr. Rohde, on count 1, you are sentenced to 18 years direct imprisonment. Turning to count 2, which is also a serious crime, you are sentenced to 5 years direct imprisonment. It is ordered that in terms of Section 280 of the Criminal Procedure Act, that 3 years of the sentence imposed on count 2 shall run concurrently with that imposed on count 1. Mr. Rohde, you are herewith sentenced effectively to a term of 20 years direct imprisonment. You are further declared to be unfit to possess the firearm. Thank you. That is my order. Court, please take the appeal.
As the court pleases.
As the court pleases.